Printing is easy in the physical world. My printer is right there. See, it's right over there. But in the virtual world, my printer might be right over there, but my desktop might be somewhere else, like Poughkeepsie or Walla Walla or Mars. Well, when I'm in Poughkeepsie and my virtual desktop is on Mars, there are some different things I have to think about. And so tools like VMware's ThinPrint instead of VMware View 5 can come in handy to ensure that I can print to my local printer right there, as opposed to some other printer that's up on Mars. I recently put together a training series for MicroNuggets on VMware View 5, and out of that I've extracted this really interesting MicroNugget on the ThinPrint functionality, just to give you some appreciation for what can happen when you separate your users from their desktops by tens or even millions of miles. Okay, so let's assume that I have, for example, a set of users, okay, or an environment. Okay. On one side of the environment, I've got my data center. Okay, and I'm in Denver today, so let's just call that data center here in Denver. And I may have users here in Denver, and those users may be interacting with their virtual machines, which is totally copacetic because that's the whole reason why we're here today. So these virtual machines, they're interacting with virtual machines, and maybe occasionally that user then also needs to click print, and so they click print, and the printer is local because the printer is in Denver, and so that process is relatively easy. We're talking land speed here. Right? And over land speed, it doesn't really matter. This to this to this doesn't really matter that much, because even if we're decompressing those print jobs and printing them out in the raw mode, then it's okay, because I don't have much latency here. I've got ample bandwidth. But let's say I have another environment over here to the left, right? And I've got a user out here in this other environment. He's way, way, way over in, I don't know, Mars or something. So way, way, way off in our branch office on that other planet, I've got, communication between this user and his or her virtual desktop, right? That user's got to work with their virtual desktop. They're connecting over PC over IP, or maybe they're connecting over RDP. There's some sort of communication path that occurs between him way, 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 way out, thousands of miles away in Mars, and their virtual desktop here in Denver. Just as an aside, I don't know if the latency here would be worthwhile. If you ever do have a branch office in Mars, let me know how the latency goes. Anyway, when that person prints, the likelihood that that person is going to want to print to this printer is fairly low. Right? If the user is on Mars and they need to print and the print job spits out in Denver, well, it's going to take a while for that print job to get mailed to that person. They probably have a local printer, right? One that's attached directly to their computer. So they've got some sort of device that they're running their virtual desktop on, and perhaps that device has a local printer, or maybe a network printer, or some sort of printer that's local to them on this planet and not on this planet. And so what they really want is they want to keep those jobs in as compressed a situation as possible, or as compressed a form as possible, so that when they click print, well, then it prints to this local printer as fast as possible with best performance. They don't want that job to get decompressed at the virtual machine and then sent over the wire in raw form back here to this printer. And so that's really what we're talking about when we're discussing location-based printing or ThinPrint or any of these sort of print configurations as it's associated with VMware View. Want to learn more? Check out cptnuggets.com.